Hi, my name is Liz Lane. I'm going to share with you 3 pieces of music about trees. They're all very different, just like the trees, the lovely trees behind me here. The first piece of music is called Tree of Life, and it was written by me last year. It's a melody on its own. There are no accompanying instruments. The singer is Belinda Evans. She's a professional soprano, which means she earns money from singing. She's also a very good friend of mine. She was on television a few years ago and then went on to star in the famous musical Phantom of the Opera, and now she sings with a violinist called Andre Rio and a large orchestra touring all over the world. Over the last year, during the pandemic, Belinda wasn't able to sing publicly anymore, and so we created a series of miniature songs online, most of them about nature. This one was inspired by an oak tree she passed when going out running each day. In the video, she sings underneath the oak tree, and the photos are also taken by her. This beautiful oak tree has probably been around for hundreds of years. My friend Jennifer wrote the words especially for this song, and there are 4 verses. At the end of each verse, a word which describes the tree is sung twice. I love this as it features lots of important aspects that my friend Jennifer thought was important about this old oak tree. Beckoning, welcoming, blossoming, and strengthening. So what words can you think of when you see an oak tree? If you say them twice, like in this song, how might you do this? What kind of rhythm would it be? How would you sing the words? There's an oak tree near where I live, and when I look at it, my word for this is towering, because it's so big and so beautiful. So I could say it like this, towering, or this, towering, kind of a little bit slower and more grand, a bit like the tree itself. Or I could sing it like this, towering, or this, towering. And this second one is perhaps kind of good because the tree is towering, and the upward way I say it, towering, kind of feels like it's going somewhere up high. So you could try that. The second piece of music is called Rain Tree by a composer called Toru Takemitsu, and it's played by 3 percussionists. I wonder when you see it if you recognise any of the instruments. The 2 wooden instruments are called marimbas. They're played with soft sticks. The ends of the sticks are wound with wool to create a gentle sound. However, it's possible to get different types of sounds. We call them timbres, types of sounds, by using the sticks in different ways. Most of the time, the players are using 2 sticks in each hand, so they can play more notes. Sometimes to get really soft and thin sounds, they use just the tips of the sticks, kind of like that. The other large instrument is called a vibraphone. It's a bit like a glockenspiel, which you might know about, but it's bigger. This also uses soft sticks. There's an extra instrument the vibraphone player uses here though. It looks like lots of little cymbals, and these are called crotales. They are pitched, so they can play a tune. They're played with smaller and hard metal sticks. So there are mainly 3 different sounds here: wooden marimbas, metal vibraphone, and metal crotales. Have a listen to the music. There are not often any melodies, but lots of effects to sound like a tree and rain, using all these different wooden and metal sounds. The composer uses a set of just a few notes, which can be played in lots of different ways, and the rhythms weave in and out between the instruments. What kind of tree do you think the music is describing? Is it small, large, thin or broad? Does it grow with a lot of other trees, or is it on its own? Is the rain gentle or heavy? How is all this portrayed by the music and the instruments? Lots of questions, excuse me, lots of questions to think about, and there's no right or wrong answer. This can be your tree. The third piece is called Paper Concerto by a composer called Tan Dun. And as you can see, it's written for percussionists playing paper, which of course is made from trees. We're going to create some sounds with this later. So a concerto, and this is called paper concerto, a concerto is a piece of music which features soloists, in this case the percussionists, who are accompanied by an orchestra. If you think back to the first piece, My Tree of Life, this was sung by Belinda on its own without an accompaniment, so without harmony and other notes underneath it. The second piece, Rain Tree, you know, the ones with the marimbas and the vibraphone and the crotales, had 3 players with equal roles. And this piece has 3 percussionists with the orchestra adding accompaniment to support. So just like there are different shapes, sizes and types of trees, it's quite similar with music, which I think is one of the things that makes music so wonderful. What do you notice about the percussionists playing this music? Of course, the feature is all about paper, but can you hear repeated rhythms happening many times? This is called an ostinato, and we're going to create some ostinatos with your own paper percussion music. So remember, an ostinato is a rhythm that's played many times. So what kind of sounds can you make with paper? What can you do with it? Well, I thought I would come up with a few ideas. First of all, I'll take a piece of paper and rustle it like this. Sounds okay, doesn't it? What happens if I use 3 pieces of paper? I'll try and fan them out a bit. That might be better. Let's give that a go. I fan them out. Well, it's a louder and richer sound, a louder and richer texture. That's the combination of sounds, so it's louder and richer. So the single piece of paper, just a little sound, and that's a bigger sound. So I can tap the paper against my hand like this, or scrumple it up like this, or even tear it like this. What other sounds with paper can you think of? You could put this all together to make a paper percussion piece using ostinatos. Remember, ostinatos are repeated rhythmic patterns. There are lots of ways of doing this. One person could shake the paper to keep the beat like this. Whilst another might crumple the paper on the 3rd beat like this. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So put it together and you've got this. So you've got each beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then with the other piece of paper, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put them together, if I can do it, two in one, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, if you crumple the paper on beat 2.5, it becomes even more interesting like this. So you could go 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Then you could combine both the 3rd beat rhythm and the 2.5 beat rhythm like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. And put them together. I'll try and do this at once, multitasking, something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Ooh, right. I can only do 2 rhythms, of course, but with lots of paper players you can get all kinds of effects. So, I hope you've enjoyed getting to know some tree music. So you'll be hearing Tree of Life by me, Rain Tree by a composer called Toru Takemitsu, and the Paper Concerto by a composer called Tan Dun. There'll be plenty more tree music ideas later on as well. So, happy tree music making. Bye for now.